Back on the show, you know who he is, Andre Soukhamthath, who's the newest member, I should say, of the UFC roster. He's going to be making his UFC debut coming up here at UFC 209. He's going to be taking on Albert Morales. Andre, how you doing? I imagine pretty damn good.
What's up, James? Yeah, man, I'm definitely excited. I'm pretty happy, and I'm ready to go.
And this fight, like I said, just 2 weeks away, not even less than 2 weeks. How did this all come together with you signing with the UFC and fighting on this card?
I really don't know, man. I just got a phone call on Wednesday afternoon. I was about to go to work, and and Glenn, the owner of the Blackzilians, he was just like, hey, would you like to fight March 4th in the UFC? And I was just like, what? I was like, okay. I was kind of sweating a little bit because it felt like it was real, because I've been told a lot of different things when it came to the UFC, like, oh, I'm gonna get signed after my next fight, or a lot of stuff like that. So, it's been a couple months since my last fight now, so I was kind of over it. That's why I took this fight to defend my belt in CES, and all of a sudden I get this call, and I come home from work, my wife has all the paperwork on the table, and I see the UFC logo, and damn, I'm just like, it's official, I guess. And how are you gonna say no to that?
I saw I got a lot of love on social media, a lot of props from a couple of your buddies there. Eric Spicely, who's in the UFC. I saw Greg Rebello had a nice tweet for you. Out of all the messages you got, is there one that sort of stands out that really sort of meant the most to you? Congratulating you on this contract.
Um, Honestly, it was a text message I got. Where I first trained at, the owner of the gym, his name is Tom Hafers. He used to promote way back in the day in the Massachusetts area, and he had a gym called USMMA. He opened it up with Jorge Rivera at that time. This was 10 years ago. This was the first MMA gym I ever walked through. And he sent me a text message telling me that he's proud of me and excited for me, and that meant a lot for me because he he opened the doors for me when I walked into that gym. I paid probably 1 month of tuition, and then I just told him straight up, I can't afford it. I can't afford it, and he gave me an opportunity to earn my tuition by vacuuming the floors, cleaning the mats, and cleaning the toilets. I did that every night after training. And some people complain about it, but I really appreciated it, and I did that for about 2.5 years, and until I moved on and went to go train somewhere else. But that one meant a lot to me because it's who I really started with.
No, that's awesome. I love hearing stories like that, and see yourself, go from starting off there and making it to the UFC. So I think that's awesome. Good on you for that. You referenced it there. You were supposed to defend your title at CES 42 on March 31st. In terms of a training camp, like had you been training? I know you train all the time, but as far as an actual training camp, had that started already for that fight? I'm guessing it had.
Yeah, for sure. I always train. Once, like 3 weeks ago, I started getting the real kill mode. You know what I mean? You train to have fun, you train to learn, and then you train to kill somebody. And about 3 weeks ago, that's when I started training to kill somebody. You know?
That makes sense. And you train out of a combat club, which used to be sort of the Blackzilians. Has your training changed at all with kind of some of the fighters training with some guys and some of the fighters training with the others? I know it wasn't like a split, but it was just more of like certain guys wanting to train with Henry and some of the other coaches.
For me, it took a little bit for me to adapt, maybe about a week or two, just because the whole gym situation. But it actually became more convenient for me because the combat club is only 5 minutes down the street from my house. So they got the schedule going, and then more and more people started going there, and I saw a lot of my old training partners that are my size going there, and it was just the right decision for me to choose combat club as my training facility because it's 5 minutes from my house. I have kids, um, I have a job, so I gotta get in and out of there. So it was a blessing in disguise, in my opinion.
As far as training partners, who are some of your main people that you've been working with helping you get ready for this fight?
As always, my bro Sean. I'm always training with Sean. I've been working with Gilbert a lot. Gilbert Burns. He's been helping me a lot, and Erwin as always. But like Kamaru, Usman, but really everybody trains with everybody now. You know, the group is a lot smaller, so really have no choice. You know, if I have to spar with AJ, then AJ kicks it down maybe 50, maybe 40%.
Right, yeah, I'd
You know,
imagine. Yeah, he's a pretty big guy.
that's Rashad, you know. So I, I didn't really have any main training partners for this camp. I just went in there and did my work and did what I was supposed to do, and used everybody I can.
Is Evan Boris down there at all, or is he back in Canada now?
He's back in Canada, man. I miss him though, but you know, I talk to him all the time, at least twice a week, once a week. I always ask for his advice and what he thinks because I really trust him. I think that he's really smart when it comes to MMA, and he's not the type to bullshit you. You know, he'll take you for who you are, no matter who you are, and he'll tell you what you want to hear or what you don't want to hear sometimes. So, you know, I still keep in good contact with Evan.
It's good because I know you guys had really good chemistry, and I know you always spoke very highly of him, and vice versa. Anytime I spoke to him, he was always raving about you. So I'm glad that that connection's still happening there. Now let's talk about Albert Morales. He's a guy that sort of rose up the ranks as well, like yourself. Most people remember him from RFA, and he's fought in the UFC a bunch of times. Was he someone that was on your radar even on the regional scene, or is he someone that now you're just sort of looking at, being in the UFC?
You know, when those guys were in the UFC and I wasn't, everybody was on my
Yeah.
radar. I don't care who it was, you know, and but yeah, everybody in the UFC at the 135 roster was on my radar because you know, like I said, I was upset that I wasn't signed and a lot of these other guys were getting signed. And Albert has, you know, he's only 6-1, I'm 11-3, and I'm like, why is he signed? So everybody was on my radar. It wasn't just particularly him.
And how do you feel like you match up against him?
He's okay, but what makes him really dangerous is he's got some power and he's kind of crazy in the cage, man. You don't know what to expect, and he's tough as nails, you know. And but I'm tough as nails too, and we both like to stand up, so that just makes for a great fight. You know, whoever survives it. You know. But I think that it's gonna be a pretty good fight, and we're both taking it on a week notice. Man, don't blink, you know? It's gonna be like a street fight, almost.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. How's the weight cut going? Again, you had that fight coming up a couple weeks after, but I imagine weight's probably on point at this point.
Man, you know what? I'm lucky. I usually walk around heavy during my camps, and you know, I just started losing weight this week, and then I got the call. So right after I got that call, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna eat this. I'm gonna eat something else. And you know, it's a little rough always the weight cut, and this is only giving me a week and a half to make the weight, but I'm just glad I started lower than what I usually would have, you know. So I'm gonna suck it up, man, and make the weight and dance on Saturday night, next Saturday.
Love it. What's your prediction for this fight, March 4th? How do you see this fight ending?
I see me finishing him in the second round. Um, with something, you know. I think my skills are real sharp, and his skills aren't as good as mine. You know, he might be tough and stuff, but I got everything. I got the kicks, I got the knees, I got the punches, and he's a boxer, but I think I'm a better boxer. So I think I beat him in the second.
What are you watching on TV these days? Like, what's a show that's really kind of capturing your attention?
Oh man, I'm saying this on TV. Me and my wife, we watch Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago Med, all three.
If you weren't doing fighting, would you love to be like a police officer?
No, I'd rather be a fireman. Um, Not a police officer, man. It's just different. You deal with a lot of BS being a police officer than you do it as a fireman. You know what I'm saying? Fireman, you're just trying to save lives, and a police officer, you're trying to save lives too. But sometimes those people don't really look at it like that, especially today. But I love to act as a police officer.
There you go. Okay, I like that. It's a good answer. Well, we certainly are looking forward to your return to the cage here, Andre. Like I said, congratulations again on the contract. March 4th, UFC 209. Where can people get a hold of you on social media? And if you got any thank you, shout outs, sponsors, anything like that, man, the floor is yours.
Hey man, yeah, you can follow me at Andre Souk MMA on Twitter and on Instagram. Like my fan page on Facebook, won't be hard to find. Andre the Asian Sensation. And you know, just a big thank you to everybody being behind me all throughout these years. My family, um, my wife, you know, she's number one. That's been behind me since day one. You know, even when I didn't even know I'd throw a punch. So that's who I really want to thank. You know, everybody that believed in me.